All right. Good morning, guys. Welcome. My name is Saad Malik. I'm the CTO and co-founder of Spectro Cloud, where we focus on Kubernetes management. So this is actually my 4th time doing this keynote, and I hope I'm not really boring you guys, so we'll keep it exciting. So for this focus of the presentation, we're going to talk about an open source project called Kairos. It's a CNCF incubation project. We'll start with Edge first, and imagine that you're responsible for maybe hundreds or thousands of different edge Kubernetes clusters that could be running in different environments. You may have environments that are in retail, restaurants, you might have hospitals, oil rigs, etc. Each of these different environments introduces its own set of unique challenges, everything from network constraints to maybe operational considerations. Now, over time, as you're doing updates into these environments, what you may find is there's going to be small differences that begins to add up and potentially causes drift. These drifts generally is what we call snowflakes, and they become a nuisance if it's not handled properly. So drifts and snowflakes happen for a variety of different reasons. The most common issues are generally some kind of update, whether it's an update to the operating system, the Kubernetes, any of the application layers. Sometimes people do a manual fix to get something up and running quickly. Sometimes as well, you might have a script that is potentially having a dependency on an NTP server. If for some reason in that edge environment the network was down at the time, guess what? You have now an environment that is slightly different. Now over time, maybe some small of these issues don't actually make a big difference, but as you start having clusters that have been running for days, months, and potentially years, slight inconsistencies do lead to problems. The problems could be everything from having an application workload outage, maybe a degradation in performance. You may have issues where every time you have an issue that needs to be resolved by sending a technical field talent, that does require significant truck rolls. It requires cost to it. And then, of course, worse, as you have more and more drifts in an environment, you are also susceptible to actual vulnerabilities, because now you have environments that are potentially not patched with the latest version, and so now you have cybersecurity threats. So in short, snowflakes obviously are terrible for edge operations at scale. So what can we do to solve this snowflake problem? Like, how do we imagine a new system that is able to handle all of these? So would it help potentially if the platform, this entire system, was tamper-proof, where you couldn't make any modifications to it? Perhaps the updates themselves are also atomic. As the update goes through, if it doesn't go fully completed, it shouldn't be able to do it at all. And in a case of an upgrade failure, something goes horribly wrong, don't leave the system in a compromised state. Don't leave the system in a state that is not working. Be automatically able to roll back into a previous state. Right? These are capabilities that we all would love to have. So there are some really fantastic immutable operating systems already out there, from Talos to Yocto to Flatcar Linux that already provide many of these capabilities. But most enterprises have already standardized on a major operating system of choice. And these would be things like a Red Hat, it could be a canonical Ubuntu, it could be SUSE Linux, right? So most organizations have significant investments when it comes to automations and support and training that are built on these operating systems. So ideally, can you provide all these different capabilities and get the benefits of both worlds? One, being able to have immutability, security, and rollbacks, but at the same time, still use the operating system vendor that you know and trust. So what does it remind you guys of? It's containers, right? Containers today already provides a lot of these different capabilities. So wouldn't it be cool if your operating system could behave exactly like a container image? Being immutable, having the ability to be declaratively defined in a Docker file or a configuration file, support image signatures, hashing, cosigns, and a bunch of other capabilities with that. Well, this is exactly what we have built with our open source project Kairos. Like I mentioned, this is now a CNCF sandbox project, and it provides container-backed immutable operating systems specifically designed for Kubernetes at the edge. And what makes Kairos different is that this framework allows you to bring in your own operating systems, whether you choose to bring in Red Hat or SUSE or Ubuntu. You bring your own golden image in your enterprise and provide all these different capabilities on top. Now, this is a very detailed slide. I'm not going to go through the entire section, but just at a very high level, right? So you start by authoring a Docker file where you specify all the configuration for your operating system, any packages you want to get installed, any libraries you want to get installed. Kairos provides a very simple CI, CD, and GitOps perspective where any modifications you do will automatically cause it to build a new container image and also a new OS image. You can flash that to your bare metal system. Now, as part of booting up the system, what Kairos has done is it'll take your existing operating system and make it read-only. So any changes you do to the read-only file system will not be even allowed. It will force you to keep it immutable. Any persistent configuration that you need could also be mounted from a secondary partition. There are many other cool capabilities in Kairos, from ability to do layered updates for bandwidth efficiency savings. We have support for trusted boot, measured boot, as well as support for full disk encryption. Now, Spectro Cloud in practice is using Kairos in all of its edge customers. A really good example of this is our customer Dentsply, which is a leading manufacturer of CT scanners and of X-ray machines for dental offices. And so what Dentsply does today is they've deployed over 1,000 different of these X-ray machines that do advanced AI analytics and dental visualizations in all these different dental clinics. And they use Spectro Cloud to be able to manage at scale these thousands of different clusters centrally and securely. This is wrapping up my presentation, but just at a high level, I would love for you guys to try out Kairos. Go to kairos.io. There is an actual quick start guide to quickly get it up and running. My colleague Dimitri has a presentation at 11 with a really cool manufacturing use case. Would love for you guys to check that out. And then lastly, so the Spectro Cloud is the sponsor for the Kairos project. We do provide enterprise support, but moreover, Kairos is a single cluster solution. What we provide at Spectro Cloud is a management platform called Palette that allows you to essentially manage multiple of these clusters at scale. And along with that, being able to do things like full stack management from your OS, Kubernetes applications. We have a lot of AI capabilities built into the platform, to-node HA, and more. With that, on behalf of Spectro Cloud and CNCF, thank you so much, and looking forward to meeting you all. Thank you.